Welcome to Healthy, Safe, Brave Space with Iris Inspires, hosted by Center of Empowerment, Inc., 501c3. This is our last Thursday of the month online grief and loss support group. Tonight we will be acknowledging this month, Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Center of Empowerment, known as COINPM, is a not-for-profit organization that impacts the 4 pillars of life: health, relationships, work, providership, and spiritual. These are interconnected aspects that shape our overall well-being. Our health, the first pillar, involves maintaining a balance in our physical, mental, and spiritual. The relationship pillar focuses on understanding the interrelatedness and managing our emotions, fostering resilience, and nurturing healthy relationships. It plays a crucial role in how we cope with stress and embrace joy. The work and providership aspect involves cognitive functions like critical thinking, learning, and creativity, which affect one's ability to provide for oneself and family. Lastly, the spiritual pillar, which might involve religious beliefs or a sense of purpose, provides a deeper connection to ourselves and the world around us, offering peace and fulfillment. Each pillar supports and impacts the others, underscoring the importance of a holistic approach to living a balanced and meaningful life. Center of Empowerment is a bridge transforming the pillars of life: health, relationships, work and providership, and spiritual. How do we do this? Programs like tonight, Healthy, Safe, Brave Spaces counseling and support groups hosted by Iris Inspires, the OMB Families in Transition Grant, COINPM Africa, where we are building a bridge of hope through our master classes, education mission trips, sponsoring and mentoring students, weekly grocery deliveries to parents and children shelters, elderly, the chronically ill, and unhoused, annual Bags of Blessings giveaway, and grocery and gas gift cards, as well as a host of referral services. Become a bridge builder today. Your one-time gift or monthly contribution is a 100% tax write-off. Use the QR code on the screen or go to www.coinpm.org/donate. Thank you again for joining us tonight. Get comfortable, share with a friend. Make sure you have subscribed and like this live. We will be starting in a few seconds.
Hi there. Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate you being here. I am going to ask that you put in the chat where you are looking in from, and put in the chat where you're looking in from. We greatly appreciate it. We like to engage, and we want to make sure that you're there, and so you can put your questions, your comments, and all that. But listen, what I'm going to do, I was just sharing with Shaunda as we got on today. I've been in traffic. I had a change in schedule today to flip my schedule upside down. And so I'm going to do our intentional breaths to get us in this moment. How about that? Okay. We got Rialto in the house. And so what we're going to do is just pause and just get present. And as you know, we kind of move from one side to kind of stretch it out. Inhale. Yes. Stretch it out. Inhale. Just breathe and just notice your breath. Stretch it out, stretch it out. Ooh, that feels good. You should feel that in your shoulders where you're loosening it up here. Yeah. It is our breath that reminds us whom's and whom's we are. Come on, take a deep inhale through the nose. Hold. And then we're going to exhale through the mouth on the count of 4. 3 and 4. Yes. You can't do that and not get relaxed and come into this moment and be present to right now and let go of what happened, when it happened, how it happened. Like, so what? Right? We are right here. We have Corona, California. We have Compton, Deborah Hill in Compton, California. Yeah. So yes, we appreciate. Go ahead and put in the chat where you are checking in from. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. That's what helps get our algorithm up. And so this will go out to the people that need to hear it. And so we want to just make sure that that happens. Okay. All right. We're going to go and get started because I want to make sure we have plenty of time to bring your questions. Make sure you share and let folks know we're in the house. I have, Lord, here I go trying to be, I can't figure stuff out. Here we go. I have Shaunda in the, hey, welcome, 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 welcome. And thank you for being here. How you feeling today?
I'm good. I'm good. I thought I'd be a little nervous, but I'm actually good. I'm good.
Yeah, you
Yes.
good, good.
Yes.
This is real, real. We got Long Beach in the house. We got West Hollywood in the house, um, and so we want to say thank you all for tuning in tonight. Um, and so we just want to go ahead and get started. One of the things why this became, we had a different topic that was selected for tonight, and then I shifted and changed it based on some events that happened this month, and it brought a lot of stuff up. I realized that it may have been triggers for some people in terms of the Mississippi incident. Well, there's been several incidents that's happened since then, and just wanted to have a open.
Mhm.
Our space is a healthy, safe, brave space. We're on YouTube. However, we still have a good, wholesome, real conversation. We got Long Beach. We got Keisha. She's here tonight. I want to say thank you for being here tonight with us. And so, wanted to bring you on. I remembered you and the family. And I said, I
Mhm.
know who I can bring on to talk about this tonight, and we can have a real conversation about it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yep.
tell us a little bit about yourself, and then tell us how you began the journey of being a suicide um, prevention and awareness. We got Francina and Pomona in the house. Um,
Hi.
so yeah, let
Okay.
us know. Yes, family is all up in here, huh?
Right. Right. Yes.
Mhm,
Okay. Well, my name is Shaunda. I am a suicide prevention and awareness advocate. Um, I gained this role, unfortunately, for 10 years. My family and I, we ran a nonprofit organization called Kevin's Cause. My aunt took her pain and decided to start a nonprofit organization in honor of my cousin, Kevin Jackson, who died by suicide. That happened in 2008. From that point, that was definitely a life changing situation for us all. So, being, at in our communities, we don't talk about suicide, right? So um, we didn't we didn't know. There may be signs that we could have seen, but uneducated, we weren't aware. So the nonprofit we started, and we wanted to educate the community. We wanted more people to have this topic to understand and learn the warning signs, and saving a life. But, we didn't want
mhm,
to go through what we went through. And
mhm,
we're
mhm.
still going through, actually, not what we went, so
Hmm. It's a
yeah.
process. It's a journey. It's ongoing. Grief, loss, in it of itself, is a process and a journey. Then you add the layer of, self-inflicted unalivement. Then that's
Mhm.
another. They have all these little cute terms we have to use today.
All these different
We,
times, yes, yes, it's changing.
uh, yes, 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 yes. Let me
Mhm.
ask you this, because one of the things I want to give you space to talk about is what was you said your family and still going through. What are some of the things that was surrounding the transition and of your cousin taking his life?
Um, I mean, it's always you say why, or what could I have done? What could I have changed? Like, I had talked to him maybe like a day or two prior. And, as you know, our family's like extremely close, right?
Mhm,
So my cousins and I, we grew up like brothers and sisters. So I actually had spoke with him, and we were speaking on the phone. And before we got off the phone, I was always like, "I love you." He said, "I love you too." But in my spirit, it just didn't feel. I felt like something was wrong, and this has bothered me forever. It took time for me to really like get over that, because I hesitated And because I again, we said our I love yous. We hung up, and I did grab the phone to call back because I felt like I needed to, like, are you okay? You know, but I didn't. And then it was like the next day or 2 days later that that it happened. So I always lived with that, like, what if I would have called back? What if I just would have said, "Hey, are you sure you're okay? You need anything?" And matter of fact, I did say, "Do you need anything?" And it was he hesitated. So it's like, well, was this something that he wanted to say? Should I have pried more? And those are the things that now, like, I make sure, like, okay, I need to check in. If I don't hear from somebody, I check in. You know, so.
Appreciate you sharing that. So I did not say this, that you may, for those of you that are watching this, may be a trigger warning. So I'm going to make sure to put that out there. We are talking about a sensitive subject. And so I want you to know we are considerate of you. Put in the chat what you're thinking, what you're feeling. If you have questions and things that come up, please do not hesitate. One of the things that you mentioned is that something you felt like something didn't feel right, sound right. What would you say to? I know you said check and don't let go. What would you say to someone listening to you, that because guilt, we oftentimes wear guilt, right? Because that's what that is. Of how you went through the process of getting through that guilt.
Educating myself, and that was, again, we're not professionals. This is just something that we took our pain and decided to create something to help others, right? So I learned as I went. It's not it wasn't my fault, so I can't, that helped me, kind of saying, okay. But it was more or less like, okay, for the future, what can I do? If I feel that again, if I speak to another person, family or not, and I'm still having that feeling like, okay, well, let me check back, let me call back, or let me pry a little bit more, because sometimes that's what they need, or that's what they want. They want someone to say, hey, are you okay, or do you need anything? Let me pick you up. Do you need something, because we don't know what's going on. So maybe it was something. And so I had to go through that. I went through that, but I had to realize that, okay, I don't know if I'll never know, if I would have called back.
And that's one of the main things to remember, that we will never know. We have heard people in the media where they say that they didn't know or didn't suspect or knew that a person may, and we're going to talk about that, notice some behavioral changes and whatnot. Excuse me. What is the distinction between, if you will, suicidal ideation and the actual planning, or in the mode of, this is what I'm going to do?
So, okay. So ideation, of course, that's they're thinking about taking their lives, right? And an actual plan, they have a plan to do it, meaning that they plan to do it at some point. And I actually, there's some myths. Again, I'm not a professional, so I'm going to, and I just,
No, I just want you to share, share your part of it. As this is the reason we're doing this, you guys, just so you can distinct. All of us while she's looking that up, all of us at some point in time have thought, I wonder what, this is just too much. I know I have. I thought this is too much. Maybe, if I wasn't here, it wouldn't be, life would be easier for everybody else. We've had those thoughts, right? We've had those thoughts, and that's the ideation part of it. That's one thing to think about it, right? To have a thought, and there's another thing to kind of go into where you're hanging out in the depression part of it, and now you're actually planning and thinking the thought process out. And so life's journey, a lot of times, experiences in our life, right? The constant hit with failures, or the feelings of failure, or not fitting in,
Mhm.
and those kinds of things. And
Mhm.
then the family has to do, as you said, the family. Did you guys go through counseling support groups?
In the very beginning, we did. Some of us did. We just to
Hmm.
learn, like, the myths, because there's so many myths about suicide, that I want to touch on, and versus the facts, so, but I do feel like there's that people, do need to seek. And I did. I went to therapy, because I felt guilty. Like, I feel like, well, could I have, what could I have said to him? Could I, when I called him back, would that maybe have changed his mind? Or, but everybody does not,
That's
they, and
different.
that's another thing. They don't believe in going to therapy, seeking help. So, but yeah, it's,
And I'm gonna let you share about the myths. This is really important, especially if your belief system is that you trust in God, you're praying, and you're gonna get through it. And you don't, you sometime, and then in our community as a whole,
mhm.
therapy it's sometimes viewed as a weakness versus a strength.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And that's the thing that I'm, now, even more so now, before then, like, I work in behavioral health, right? So, we don't call it psychiatry anymore, it's behavioral health. So it's something I don't, people are so afraid of that, walking through that door,
Mhm.
just talking. Sometimes it's easier to talk to someone that you don't know versus someone you know.
Mhm.
Um, and I encourage anyone, whether what grieving, whether you're having thoughts, suicidal ideations, but or just talking about life. Like, we in the climate that we live in, it's we need it.
Mhm.
Like, I feel
Mhm.
better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, we
So.
have to be able to talk about it. Absolutely. So go. You want to go ahead and share with some of your myths, some of the myths are.
Yes, because there's a myth here that says suicide only affects individuals with a mental condition. The fact
Oh,
of
that's a
that
good one.
is many individuals, right? So many individuals. This is a fact. Many individuals with mental illnesses are not affected by suicidal thoughts, and not all people who attempt or die by suicide have mental illnesses, right? Everyone think, and then you say, "Oh, they were crazy," or that. No, we don't know what they were dealing with, right? And everybody that dies by suicide does not want to die; they just want to end their pain. Okay. So another myth is, once an individual is suicidal, they will always remain suicidal. That is a myth. Okay, the fact is, active suicidal ideation is often short term and situation specific. Okay, so studies show that 54% of people who have unalived themselves did not have a diagnosed mental health disorder. So just because someone died by suicide does not mean that they were diagnosed mentally ill, and it doesn't mean that they had an illness. Okay, and then one that I really want people to really know about is that most suicides happen suddenly without warning. That is a myth, because there a lot of times, the fact is that warning signs, whether it be verbally or behaviorally, precede most suicides. Right, so that's where, and not always, not that's why it says most, but there are times that there's things that people say, their language, um they might that's when people start giving their possessions away, different things. You start noticing things, and when you notice those things, it's like, speak up. That's the thing. We have to learn to speak up and say, "Hey, is everything okay?" or "What's going on?" Again, after we lost Kevin in 2008, I made a vow to myself. I didn't share it with anyone, but I made a vow that I would send a message. And I went to every individual and sent text messages Just wanted to check in. Just wanted to say I love you. You know, because I'm like, I never want to experience that again, ever. You know, and I never, but and then I, you know, and I want them to do the same. You know, it's important to educate ourselves. You know,
So let me ask you this. This is good, Shaunda. So Shaunda, after I know you said you had a feeling, but were there signs when you okay, were there signs? Myers Inglewood, I think it says. Were there signs when you reflect back now that you are more educated around the subject matter of suicide and some of the things that we sometimes overlook or don't pay attention? Were there signs? You guys, let me also say, please put your comments in the chat. Put your questions in the chat. Don't hesitate, so we can make sure we can get your questions answered rather.
Okay, so now, mind you, we're cousins, so you know, I didn't maybe not see him every day, did not live in the house with him, but from what I saw, I didn't see anything. Now, if you ask my auntie Wanda that, I don't know, you know,
Got
but
it. Got it.
so, and that's the thing, like, you know, if you're around a person daily, then you may see it sooner than, you know, someone else. Like I said, we didn't see each other on a daily basis, but with him I did not. But I can tell you that if you named me 5 people, would he have been that person that I would have never would I have? No.
Let me say this too. I want to piggyback and agree with you on the statement that not everybody is trying to end their life. They're trying to they want to end the pain, and they want people to say, you know, see, do you hear me? Do you see me? I can remember, I don't know if you've read my book, You Again, it's in there. And I talk about a time where I felt, I was tired. Can you hear me? Can you? So I tried. I attempted. It wasn't that I was trying to necessarily leave here, but I did want to get up. I need you guys to hear me, okay? And stop. And I wanted the pain, the incessant pain. I had turned 30, and of course, we had this idea that life is supposed to look a certain way, feel a certain way, be a certain way. I was supposed to be a lot more accomplished than what I was. And things are just not looking like that. And then the expectation for me to still perform. And sometimes when we are unable to really talk about the disappointments we have with ourselves and the false expectation about life.
Right. Yes. Absolutely.
You know, so it's really Go ahead.
And to piggyback off of what you just said, I feel like, bless you, a lot of the generation today with social media, like what they see on social media is what they, you know, oh, they live this perfect life. Well, that's on camera, or that's what they post. That's what they're showing you, right? So they feel like I'm not where I'm supposed to be in life. Well, by whose design it? That's not fact. We don't know what they went through to get where they are, right? You know, one, and two, they're posting what they want you to see.
They want you to see, and we can make anything look good, right? And that's part of the it's a facade. I think about one of the I can't call her name right now. Beautiful young lady. You would not suspect, like, huh? She was really that unhappy with life. And then when you heard that her mother talk about what was going on in her life, that she was battling depression. She was battling not living up perfectionism. Things needed to be perfect, right? And it wasn't perfect. So we have to be aware of that. We have Ashley Nicole in the house and Rebecca from Santa Ana in the house. Hey. And so so it's so very, very, very important. You know, that we pay attention to our self-help, not our mental health, our mental fitness. We paying attention to how the pressure, that we're under. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just like I said, the climate that we live in. I think social media is a gift and a curse. Especially for the youth. The with the bullying, and it's just a different time. You know, I it hurts my heart. It saddens me because you read so many kids who, they don't want to go around. They don't want to go to school. They don't want to be around people because they're sad, or they have you hear a lot of people that have anxiety, right? I'm like, okay, I didn't know what anxiety was until but again, these are things that we don't talk about.
Mm-hmm.
It's been around. It's been, but
Mm-hmm.
these are topics that we don't discuss. And it's I and it's organizations like this that we want to educate our people. That we
Mm-hmm.
want because everyone is sweeping it under the rug. And after after Kevin passed, and then I started the nonprofit. So many people came to us that we knew. That we've known forever. They're like, "Oh, I lost my dad, or I lost this person to suicide, or I attempted," but no, never. But they never talked because they were ashamed. It was a
Mm-hmm.
stigma to be ashamed. And back in the days in the church, they said you had an evil spirit on you, or you were going to hell, or these things. But it's like it's an illness. Just like if someone had lupus or something, you can't see it, right? So it's a
Mm-hmm.
mental illness. It
Mm-hmm.
is just
Mm-hmm.
something that you cannot see. And again, but then there are those that are not diagnosed with a mental illness. They're suffering from depression. Untreated depression will lead to suicide.
Mm-hmm. 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 So really, really, what I'm hearing you say that really understanding the counseling and therapy doesn't mean it's not a bad thing.
Not at all.
It's not a
Absolutely not.
bad thing. It doesn't mean that you're weak.
And
It's like
not
if
at
you
all.
have at all, it's like if you have to, like you just said with the lupus,
Hmm.
you get that was a perfect comparison.
Hmm.
Getting the support that we need
Hmm.
to navigate to this wonderful life that we have because it's different.
Hmm.
It's not the same.
Hmm.
It is not the same.
Right.
What are some of the things some more things that you can share with the audience as it pertains to family dynamics and what you are seeing in the advocacy and the work that you're doing?
Um, I being around people, sometimes will pull you out of that dark place. Again, speaking to um, a credentialed therapist, but sometimes family, they are, or your friends, they are your therapist, but it's it takes work. It doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. I think that I challenge everyone to just check in on your people. Check in on those that you haven't heard from in a while. Just send a text message. And that's the thing. And that's a good thing about technology, right? You don't always have to call and sit on the phone with somebody. You can just send them a text. I was thinking about you. Now, I'm good for that. I will send the people text messages. I
Mhm,
will send, and just, or I might, and I promise I can read something, and God will give it to me. Like, send
mhm,
this to this person. Send this
mhm,
to this person. And I don't know why I'm sending it to them, but I'm sending it to them. And 99% of the time, someone will respond back and say, I needed this today. It's not me. That's what God gave me to send to them. So, and sometimes that's all that person needed. I don't know how many messages, or I haven't talked to people in years, but it's just tap in. We have to, let's be accountable for, each other.
mhm,
I know sometimes I may not get that. I get sad. I get, like, oh, and that, in that place, like you said, you're like, okay, I'm not doing this. I should have been here by now. But we just have to. So that's what we're wanting to do, to continue to get back out there and educate the community. Because especially now, like it's needed. Like, just with the world that we live in 2025, yes.
We have to have co-ops. We have to start partnerships, and safe spaces for us to come to, for our young people to come to, for
Right.
even our elderly.
Yeah.
We take for granted that they don't have feelings of, especially if life has changed dramatically for them, health decline.
Right. Yeah, that is the rate for suicide or suicide attempts in the elderly is high as well. Because they're tired. You hear that all the time. People with illnesses, they get tired. And when they say they're tired, now you need to say, well, what you mean you tired? What does tired mean to you or for you? You know, and because I will, in a minute, someone say you tired. Well, what kind of tired are you? Like tired, like you don't want to do this anymore. But Kevin's cause has been really, we're going to get back out there. Life happened. We had a lot of loss in our family, and being that as a nonprofit organization run by family, right? Just so we all suffered the same loss. So, but next year we'll be back. We'll be back in the community doing more, and continue to educate, and do more fairs and walks. But it's because this is needed, and I appreciate you in opening the door for us to come, and we're allowing me to come and speak and sharing just information, or encouraging those who are suffering. There's hotlines that they can reach, text, and is there's people out here who care.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to say thank you for allowing, for coming and sharing, being transparent, because that's the other thing. We have to be willing to be transparent about our experience. So I want to say thank you for coming and being here. Audience, is there any questions, any comments, any feedback, anything you want to ask and or share in the chat? Shaunda, if there was one thing, or two things that you would, or three things you would want to share, as a family member, if you share it to someone who's listening right now, who may be in the grief process of losing their loved one, what would you say?
One day at a time. One day at a time. It's an indescribable pain. I can't explain. So I know. Just try to be there. Take care of yourself. Because if you're no good to anyone, if if you're not well. So I would say one day at a time first. Two, I would recommend therapy. I mean, talking to someone. And if you don't want to go to a professional therapist, that's fine. But talk to someone, talk about your feelings. Like, what are you feeling? How can we, what can I do? What can I do? How can I help someone else to not go through what I'm going through? Or and support groups. Support groups are great, right? Because you're listening to others talk about how they because it's not something that you're ever going to necessarily get over, but how do I move along? How do I not feel like what did I do? That's one. I mean, that's three things that I think are really, really
Mhm.
important.
Mhm.
Um, and then I do have phone numbers
Okay.
for anyone who is struggling with suicide ideations, or that anyone may need to give to someone. They can
Mhm.
call or text 988, or text
Mhm.
home, HOME, to 741-741.
I'm typing it.
And just
Give
remember,
me I'm slow. Give me a minute. I'm a little I know the 988 is one, and what was the other one?
they could text home, HOME, capital
Okay.
HOME,
Yeah.
to
Okay.
741-741.
741-741. Okay.
Yes. hmm And those are numbers that, and to reach out, and then someone responds back, and then they will, talk to them, or, and try to um, get them the help that they need.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Uh, Thank you so much for that. I have put that 988 text. You can text
Mm-hmm.
988, and what will happen is someone, and you can dial the 988 as
Mm-hmm.
well, and you'll get a live person to talk with you. And or you
Mm-hmm.
can text home, text 741-741, and you will get someone that can talk to you. We offer here at Center of Empowerment, we offer counseling support groups. So we do this here in the open and public, and then we also have one-on-one, and we have support groups that are not necessarily live like this. We
Mm-hmm.
come out here for in this type of setting to at least where we're educating and giving the audience and those that will listen an opportunity to hear and share. I want to thank you so much for sharing your experiences and sharing hope, giving real talk, real experience, and real hope. I greatly appreciate it. Um, Anyone in the chat, I'm gonna give you one more time. Don't forget to like the this live. Don't forget to share it with your friends and loved ones. You heard Kim, Lord Jesus. You heard you heard Shonda say, I'm looking at Kim in the comments. You heard Shonda talk about Kevin's cause. I want you to know when they come back around, I will make sure to keep you guys on because we've done some things with them
Mm-hmm.
with their when they have their fundraisers and their awareness. It was what was that? It was the race. What was
Right.
that?
The
The
five,
walk with
the
the
five,
yeah. That
yeah.
those were like excellent.
Yeah.
And it's about being aware, being open to the possibility of getting the help that we need for our families, for our children. I was looking at the stats, and I knew it was high, but
Yeah.
it blew me away what's going
Yeah.
on in our communities. It just blew me away. Um,
Yeah. Suicide is the 11th leading cause of death, right? In 2023, 49,316 deaths were reported by suicide. And so that's like 11, what is it? 1 person every 11 minutes,
every 11 minutes. Hmm.
So that's in the US. That's
Hmm.
the numbers are high.
They're high, and it's in
Yeah.
our male children, our male, the males in our families, in our communities is really high. The young
Yeah.
girls and young ladies are too, but the numbers, even
The
when
men,
I looked at, yeah,
yeah.
it was actually shocking. I was actually very surprised, even in the different parts of Africa, the numbers for the men is very high as well. Um, so. Cynthia says, thank you for your vulnerability.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's
Yeah.
see. Uh, is it Ika wants to know, is suicide preempted or preponderance, preponderance of I incidents? I'm not sure what that means. Do you
Yeah.
know what that means?
No, can you elaborate a little more?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. What does that mean? So is suicide preempted or a preponderance of I? Maybe with it, can you share a little more? What do you mean by that question, so we can
mhm,
make sure it's answered correctly?
right.
What do you mean by that? Because I may be preempted or a preponderance of multiple incidents. Is that what you're meaning by that? Okay, while we're waiting for them to give us a
Mhm.
response on that. Um, so yeah, 988. You can text call 988.
Mhm.
And as I was saying, we have a host of counselors on our roster that we can refer you to. I myself am a counselor and coach, grief, loss, and trauma. And a lot of times it's unresolved trauma, unresolved things. And sometimes it is medical. There are medical things, hormonal things. But
Mhm.
the best thing to do is find out what's going on so you can get the necessary help.
Mhm.
So they have not given us any more information on that question. Once it was
Yeah.
a suicide, so I'm not sure what that means.
Oh. Well,
Okay, well, we're going to keep you posted again. Thank you so much for coming.
thank
Don't forget to
you.
like, don't forget to share. We will have to have you come back when Kevin Cause is,
Absolutely.
back up and rolling, so you can talk about what you're doing, and then
Absolutely.
hopefully we'll be able to do some co-op, some things together in
Yeah.
terms of work together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for joining, and we appreciate you. Okay. All righty. Let's see. Y'all, I'm still learning my technology here. Be patient with your girl. Be patient with your girl. One thing about it, I'm gonna have some fun, but you gotta be patient with me. Here we go. Where we go.
Okay.
All right, girl. See you next time. Thank you so much. Uh-huh. All right, y'all. I am trying to find where, again, we had an awesome evening tonight. I want to thank you for joining us. Don't forget to go to, if you're liking these programs, you like we have our grief and loss and support group online every last Thursday of the month. And then we also have our caregiver support is every second Thursday of the month. And what we've been doing over the last couple of months, because there's been such a need, is we've been expanding our services. So next month, we will be dealing with breast cancer. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so we will be talking about breast cancer. All righty. All right. Again, thank you. And we'll see you the next go round. Okay. Why is it not doing what I'm asking it to do, though? Yeah, here we go.
Let Let me partner with you as you walk through this next chapter of your life. Let us unpack the blocks, the blind spots together and get to the next level, your divine purpose in this season. Let's help you shed the weight that distracts from you living in fulfillment. Meet me in my healing space. Confirm with me today.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next week, next month. All righty. All right. Blessings, and we'll see you next time.
Let me partner with you as you walk through this next chapter of your life. Let us unpack the blocks, the blind spots together and get to the next level, your divine purpose in this season. Let's help you shed the weight that distracts from you living in fulfillment. Meet me in my healing space. Confirm with me today.